So I've got Nancy Mueller, Executive Director of A5 here in Chattanooga. And Nancy, I can't let you off the hook. Tell me about tryouts this year.
Okay. First of all, thank you for having me. I'm really excited
Honored to
about
have you
our,
here.
our vision about where we want to go. And there was a lot of change within the club this year. So we were trying to hunker down and really understand what could benefit us because there were some changes with the addition of some different clubs and stuff in the area. So we were just trying to solidify teams early. But now I think we take a step back and we look at it and we reevaluate again for next year in July at the tryouts. Like, hey, maybe we do allow those players to see what else is out there because we really value what we have, and I think what we're doing at A5 is invaluable not only as a player but as a person. So I think we need to stick to those values and allow people to see that there is other stuff out there, but we have to really just have the people that buy into our product and we strongly believe in what we're doing.
And we've been obviously talking for weeks. There's good things cooking. It's got me really excited about the future for A5. When we went through the tryouts, I felt like I was in it with A5 as a parent.
Mhm.
And we are committed and dedicated to the cause. And I think it speaks to your leadership
Thank you.
that we were so far in, like, it was like this emotional toll, and so you had to take over for somebody,
Mhm.
and A5 was headed in a certain direction. Now you're going in an entirely new direction, and there's a lot of light at the end of the tunnel. Talk about that transition and how your leadership style was different than the previous director.
So about 3 years ago, I was asked by the leadership at A5 out of Atlanta, because we're a sister club. We're a branch of A5 out of Atlanta, which is the main club for A5. When we started this up about 7 years ago in 2017, I was just somebody that was just a coach in the area. And then I had known the directors at A5 in Atlanta for many years, recruited a lot of their kids when I was at the collegiate level in Division One. And so they called me up and they said, "Hey, we want to go in this direction, but we only want to do it if you kind of take the leadership." And I really believed in what we were doing. And I think we had just started to turn the corner. And so I agreed to it. I thought, yeah, what a great opportunity. My goal as a coach has always been I want to help grow the game as much as possible. I think it's the best sport out there. I think it's one of the funnest sports to watch. So leadership style wise, it's kind of you get what you see. I'm very honest. I try and be as transparent as possible. And I really I believe in the culture and the character of what we're doing with every player. Every player matters because we certainly don't do this for the money. There's not a lot of money in it for what we're trying to do, but we really are just trying to create an environment where kids can grow, feel good about who they are as people. They can build relationships and connections with coaches and with other teammates and look at something volleyball that can be the future if they want it to be. I believe there's a place for everybody to play and we'll help you get there however we can. So that's just kind of been my passion and about what we're doing. And I thought, well, maybe I can help a little bit.
So, from a personal perspective, I love what it's done for my daughter. It is her identity, and it has given her the confidence to go out and conquer other aspects
Mhm.
of her life. I took the same approach that my parents did. Neither one of my parents were athletes, and they weren't vicarious. They were like, "If you wanna try something, go.
Mhm.
And if you're passionate about it, then we're gonna back you, and we're gonna support you, and we're gonna make sure you need what you have to play, and we'll get you to where you gotta go." And now she's obsessed,
Mhm.
and she's out in the morning in the cold, like, I can hear the ball, she's setting against she's peppering the wall by herself.
Against the garage.
Yeah, waiting for the car. She's outside, and so I can't thank you enough. You guys went through a transition 2 years ago, and there was a new entity has purchased the club,
Mhm.
and I understand it's from a pro league,
Mhm.
and so I started thinking, there's a lot of resources, there's a lot of smart people,
Mhm.
and
Very
so
smart.
tell me how that has benefited the club, and where do you think it can take the club from here?
That's a really great question because I think that's one of the things that a lot of people in the area don't really know about our club. We are again, like I said, part of the A5 system, but we're even part of a larger ecosystem that is called League One Volleyball or Love. Love was founded by a couple of people sitting on a couch and saying, how can we get our female amazing athletes who are winning gold medals, who are winning silver medals, who are medaling in every Olympics, how can we get them to stay home and play in front of their own family? And so that's kind of where this dream was formed of love. And League One is how do we grow it? That's different from any other, because there's been many startups of professional volleyball, women's volleyball here in the United States, and none of them have panned out. Why? So they really took a step back and said, okay, we're going to take this from a grassroots perspective. We're going to grow the game and create real heroes for our women and for our girls, and somebody that they can really take a look at. And that's where love really kind of formed. And so one of the things that they did is they created this business and they're going out and they're purchasing clubs across the country that are now interacting and weaving within each other to grow the sport of volleyball and to grow the game so that they can draw audiences to watch one of the best games in the country. I mean, we are the most watched sport right now in women's sports. I know the WNBA was amazing this year. Really, what's happening within volleyball is the viewership numbers are the largest it's ever been, and right on the cusp of getting into our inaugural season with Love Atlanta. So what that's done is created this huge ecosystem of people that have said, "Hey, we'll help you with your recruiting process across the country. We'll help you with buying and purchasing a facility and what does that look like?" And, just illegal. You have all these resources that I didn't even know about. When I first started in this club business, I thought it was about coaching volleyball. And now you have these corporations, these people that wanted, it's not about the money for them. It's about creating opportunities for girls and women in sport. We have people that we are on with every month of coaching our coaches. How do we make our coaches better? How do we make them better for the girls that are playing? How do we create a mentally safe environment? We have everything from mental health training to parent councils that are meeting and growing and talking about what's best for the girls as a whole. And that's all comes about because of League One and what they're creating. So it's very exciting. And it starts, down here in Atlanta in January. Everything starts in January with this new season. And what's cool is we have almost all the Olympians from last year's team
And
that are playing. Yeah.
nobody else can say that.
No,
I
nobody
mean,
else
you've got
can
a
say that.
monopoly on that. I love it.
Yeah. It's an amazing opportunity. And it gives girls and even college players an opportunity to even dream about playing in the United States. And not everybody can be on the national team or the Olympic team, but they could play professionally. They never had that before. And to have that opportunity right now, the League One Volleyball Pro League is in six different cities, and I imagine it's going to grow to 8 or 10 in the next 2 years. So,
Well, I can't wait. You talked about culture.
mhm.
How does that trickle down to A5 in Chattanooga, and what's your approach to the culture component for our community?
I think culture is really kind of just the details, taking care of those little things every single day, every single practice, from lining up your bags the same to saying and being in the same offensive system and having that yes ma'am, yes coach mentality. So I think for me it's about growing and giving life lessons that it just is being reinforced as what's happening at home. Our culture is one of building those connections and just really taking the time to find the joy in what you're doing and really understanding there is a way to do things and there's a way not to do things. There's a healthy way and there's a not so healthy way. So we want to try and create a space where our young girls feel good about who they are as people. And how does that just kind of grow from there? And every year they're learning so much more about who they are, right? Everything they're ever evolving. Heck, I'm pretty old. I'm still evolving, and and you can do that through sport. There's so many good things that can
Absolutely.
come from sport. Whether we all, I know you hate to lose as much as I do,
Yep.
but there's something to be said about how do we respond to that? How do we respond as people to those challenges? So I think that culture that we talk about of joy, connections, I think those are the things that we really strive for, and the character that we create through the respect that the players give each other and that their coaches is something that just is unmatched in our area. I think that that's just something that we value a lot, and we want to continue to grow as
Completely
people.
agree. That's an awesome task. I mean, we're coaching, we're people building, character building,
Mhm.
and you've got a great team. Let's talk about senior leadership. You've got great
Oh
support,
my gosh.
and they've been around.
They have, and that's one of the reasons I actually, when I was offered the job to take on as the club director, I said, "I'll do it with some conditions." And my 2 conditions were, first and foremost, Sarah Lale had to come along with me. Sarah is a legend in
Mhm.
this area. She is a pillar of volleyball in this area with what she's done at the Baylor School and just in the area. She's a former UTC player, so she's got a lot of connections within the community, but she's one of the best minds for the game. And my big thing with her was I needed somebody to do the back end, and she's a behind the scenes person, doesn't want any of the recognition. None of our coaches really do. But I think the important thing is when we got Sarah on board, it was her intentionality with just continuing to grow the game. Her values lined up with mine. And then the assistant director in charge of player and coach development is Mary Hallahan. Fortunately, I met Mary before I became the club director. She was coaching the most challenging team, one of them we had in the club at the time. And I got to see her, how she handled that and how she really kind of grew as a person and a coach just in that one season. And I was like, wow, that's somebody I really want to work with. And I actually hired her on for the university job of the South job, where I coach as well. And she was able to grow with me in 5 years as my assistant up there, but also be in charge of like that development piece, and that's really where her passion is. She was part of my accepting the job as well because she's so committed. Her heart is in club volleyball and really showing girls that there's so much more out there through the game of volleyball, and it's the passion that she has for what she does is amazing.
In a positive way. I really feel like she's embraced the leadership role this year. She's more vocal.
Mm-hmm.
She was the face during commitment night,
Mm-hmm.
and at the masters classes, she's the one rallying the troops,
She is.
delivering the message.
She is, and I've kind of put her out front a little bit more. We talk every day. She's one of my best friends, but it's kind of cool to be able to do that with people that you really care about. But yeah, I unfortunately made a scheduling mistake and couldn't be at commitment night, which is one of my favorite nights of the year. But unfortunately, I couldn't be there with my collegiate job. We were playing, and I wasn't able to get back in time. But I think she really has as a good voice and she has a good feel. She knows me well enough to kind of be that voice for me. And so she has grown a lot in that position, and I trust her implicitly to take on that responsibility.
As it seems, it's hard to keep the organization running
Mhm.
as smoothly as you guys do. There's a lot going on. There's tournaments
Oh
and
my
there's
gosh,
travel,
there
and
is.
so how do you make it look so easy?
Like I said, I have good people that take on the responsibility. We don't just throw a schedule together. It takes all 3 of us talking about what the pros and cons are, where we want to be at the end of the year. We have that detail. We have the fundraising component of it. One of our goals is that people within our that want to play for us, like the reason that they shouldn't play for it, if they can't afford it, we want to make sure that we create that opportunity.
Absolutely.
Like we want to create an opportunity, help families as much as we can. We want, I never want to hear I can't play because I can't afford it. Well, let us try and help you figure it out. And I think that's something unique that we try and really do at A5. And then you have the business end of it, the practice, the scheduling. If you would actually take a look at our spreadsheet, it's really Sarah's spreadsheet. Let's be honest. It's like a game of Tetris of between finding the facilities and who can do here, and people have special requests for. There's so much more involved with it than just balls and ball cards. You have to order those balls and ball cards. You have to order those uniforms. You have to, so it's a process that takes a lot of time, takes a lot of energy, and takes a lot of organization. And between the 3 of us, I think we tackle our areas of expertise and just make it work.
There's a good mix this year of male and female coaches.
Mhm.
And I think it's important if we're coaching an all-female audience.
Mhm.
Our school's even made a transition to making sure that you have that balance, but having strong female coaches in leadership positions. What's that do for the girls? Like when they see that, what's it doing for them?
When we got involved with League One, Caitlin Gow is the CEO of League One, and Caitlin actually and I were walking back from one of our meetings together, and we were out in Huntington Beach, and she said, "How do you have so many female coaches?" And I said, I first and foremost want to hire the best people that are going to be the best trainers for our girls. And if they just so happen to be female, that's even better, just because I think the more female role models that you have, the better off your our players are going to be. What's the saying? If you can see her, you can be her. And I think that's one of the most powerful statements I've ever heard, because now we're seeing what I can be and who I can be. And so I want to surround our players with the best role models that they can have. And I think we have some fantastic male coaches as well, who are very caring and giving of their time to our players. And so it adds a little bit of balance. I think one of the things we've always done when we have a male head coach, we always have a female assistant coach. We always want to have that female presence for them, because they have that female side that they can go to if they're struggling with something. They may not be as comfortable. Sometimes they're not comfortable coming to Coach Nancy either. So we have that balance of, this year I have Coach Aaron, who's been with the club since it started in 2017. And, I think it's good to have that balance. And I think that, like I said, I think if you can have a great female role model, I know for my own stepkids, that was invaluable, because it automatically teaches you what you can do. And if I can see it, I can certainly be it. So
Is it hard to recruit good coaches? I'm with the number of teams that you have, I'm thinking, how is she recruiting this kind of quality, this kind of talent in such a small town? I mean, there's always 2 coaches per team.
it is. It's kind of hard to find that, but we have a lot of loyal coaches. We ask them in like March and April, like, "Hey, would you think about doing that? You're doing a great job. We want to keep you on board. Would you do this again next year?" And they're usually without a doubt, unless they really just have a lot going on in their life and need to take a step back. We have a lot of loyal coaches that want to be involved and really believe in what we're doing. So that's hard to find, but we actually get a lot of people that move into town. I would say 3 to 4 a year that reach out and say, "Hey, you're the club I want to work for. Can I talk to you about? Do you have any openings?" But we also have good connections with the local college and university teams. We have great representation from, we have the Lee assistant coach, we have the Chat State head coach, we have a couple of players from UTC. So we try and use those connections as well, and that really helps. We've had players from Swanee, where I work. We really want to create that environment, and try and get great people that want to be involved with a great organization. We also don't put them in a situation where they're going to feel uncomfortable and having to have those tough player parent conversations that everybody has to go through kind of every year. But we really kind of want to say, "Hey, we have your back. Let's have those conversations. We'll teach you how to have those conversations. We'll teach you how to plan a practice. We'll teach you how to train a middle." So I think that's one of the things that we do that's pretty unique, is we really, really value the training system that we have for our coaches.
What about legacies? Does anybody come home after going through the A5 program to
Yeah,
coach?
yeah, we do. We've had several. We actually, this year alone, we have three, yeah, and are working with us this year. And I think that's very cool. It speaks volumes, and all of them have played for me, or have been on my team. So, I even have 2 Swanee players that are coaching with us that have been with other clubs, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing." And so when you get older, you you have these people that come back and want to be a part of something that they help grow, and they're just passionate about it. And then there's that teaches and shows you more about any program, is that you have people that want to come back and that are vested in what you're doing. So it's cool. We're getting into the stage where we're a little bit older. We've been around for 7 years. We have players coming back and really vested in the game.
Loyalty is one of the highest forms of flattery. A
Absolutely.
huge fan, huge fan. I know the coaching approach this year is different.
Mhm.
You guys got outside the box. We're going to be more competitive. Talk to me about the change in the coaching and
Okay.
how it's going to affect the season as we move into nationals.
In the past, we've had a master coaching plan where it was November is really about big team. Big group training. and everybody doing the same thing, learning the same skill, learning the same cues for their passing, their setting, their hitting, whatever the skill is, their blocking. We took it a little bit different this year. We still do the master coaching sessions, but we actually have 4 positional coaches. So instead of just doing all master coaching sessions in November, we have 4 coaches that said, so Coach Mary is in charge of the liberos. She does all our libero training. I do all our pin training. We have Cece Blanchard, who's the assistant coach at Lee. She does our middle blocker training. And then we have Kaylee Scharfman, who set for us at Swanee. So she'd been with us for 5 years, 4 years with our setter training, and also been with A5. So we do at least 1 practice a week, sometimes 2, of just positional training outside of the master coaching sessions. We've gotten great feedback from it, and I think it's something we're going to continue to do. And what that really is just we're taking, instead of 15 or 20 minutes, around 20 to 30 minutes maybe in master coaching, now we're doing 2-hour sessions of this is, let's say, our pin hitters, our outsides and our right sides. This is the footwork that you're going to use in serve receive. This is the footwork you're going to use when you block to transition to attack. And this is the footwork you're going to, and then we train very specific for that position. But then when we come together as a big group and go within our teams on master coaching days, they take that and they implement it into the master coaching phase. So we don't have to take time away and say, okay, now we're just doing four positional work for 20 minutes. We've actually really got to deep dive into the position and grow that, let them gain some confidence in what they're doing by position. It's just been a new approach that we've taken. We've always done some sort of positional type training in the master coaching, but now we're actually doing it for 2 hours or 4 hours a week. And that's really, I think it's really helped them embrace their position and really the training of it. So,
And the confidence in their position.
absolutely.
Outside looking in, I mean, novice outsider for volleyball, but thank you for letting me film the practices. But I can see the confidence and the competitive nature has leveled up, at least once, maybe twice. And the confidence in committing to, whether it's the passing, their serves, and defense, serve, receive, whatever it is, like I can see it, and they're having fun.
They are.
I mean, to gel, like our group is not the second iteration of last year's team. We didn't hit the reset button, but we had a new infusion of talent, and talent's exactly how that needs to be described. I mean, I feel so good about the 14 ones. I'm not very biased.
That's okay.
But they're having fun, and they're, you can see the camaraderie, and they're like, hey, we need to go hang out, and we need to spend more time together because they're having so much fun because they're playing as a unit. Okay, they're competitive, and
Here's the good news: we haven't even started competing yet.
No.
So normally we kind of forewarn the parents and we say, hey, we're not going to be good, but we're not going to win a lot until March. And then that's where really when we dive into our qualifier season and when we're qualifying for nationals and that kind of stuff, or that's at least we're trying to. I think we're going to see a lot bigger strides made in in early February. Don't quote me on that, but I think just because we've covered so much more than we have in the past with this approach, I think that, like you said, the confidence is starting to get there a lot faster. What it has done is it allowed us to work some different systems. Like for the older kids, like we run a couple different defenses. We've gotten to practice that a little bit more, but because we haven't had to worry about some of the other smaller details that have been taken care of in the positional training. So I think we're going to see bigger strides this year, just earlier in the season, and which will put us in a better position to have the opportunity to qualify. I think our ones teams, our twos teams, the strength in playing, whether it be our 14 ones with our 15 ones, or our 16 ones with our 18 ones, or 17 ones, the parity has just gotten so much stronger. Like the competition
Undoubtedly
is so good, and that's how you get better. Is when you're able to face that every single day rather than occasionally. You're going to do that almost every single practice, which when you go in 3 times a week, that's good stuff.
That's good. My girls ate it up.
Yeah.
I was such a huge fan of last night, seeing with the rest. That's an unusual benefit. for our
Yeah.
club to
Yeah, we actually have great relationships with the officials in town, and they every year they have to get rated. So every tournament they have to be a certain rating. That's I guess what their pay scale. I really don't know the details of the whole rating system, but we have a lot of Chattanooga officials, and they asked us like, "Hey, are you guys doing a scrimmage anytime soon?" And we're like, "Yeah, we can put something together. It gets the kids in uniform, kind of works out some of the nerves, and it allows the officials to kind of practice before they actually get into tournament season." So it created that environment where they were able to be rated, get feedback on what certain things, the new rule changes or anything like that. So it would kind of let them get integrated a little bit more into and get ready for the club season as well, because it's really interesting because there's different rules depending on club, high school, college. I don't know why we're not all on the same page, but that's just how it works. So the officials have to know all the differences. So to jump from high school to club, and some of them even do the college game. So it's kind of was a good way for them to get reintegrated back into the club. So that was kind of fun for them to do. And we do it, I think, every year, but we've never done it to that degree in terms of putting the uniforms on and letting them practice even substitution, watching for the libero in and out, lineup checking, all that stuff.
So you touched on it on the last question, or I should
Mhm.
actually say in your last answer, you were talking about we've set the season up to qualify. Like this is new.
Mhm.
Last year we didn't go to Orlando twice. You've changed the objective because
Correct.
you want to. You explain it in your words.
Okay, so juniors volleyball is kind of divided into there's two different nationals. There's AAU nationals and there's USAV nationals. So qualifying for USAV nationals, you have to attend certain tournaments that allow you to qualify. You have to finish in the top 3 depending upon what division you're in. And last year we made the decision as club directors to not, because of where the location was. We didn't want to ask our families to pay an extra $3,000 to qualify and go to Las Vegas. So we didn't think it was a very kid-friendly environment. And we just didn't want to ask our families to have to pay that money. But so we decided to go to just as high of a quality nationals in Orlando, which is drivable. People can take a full family vacation out there. So we made that decision to do that. And prior to last year, we've always tried to qualify. We've had teams go to qualifiers and try to qualify, and then if they don't qualify, they still go to AU nationals. So what we did this year, we decided to go back because the nationals this year are in Dallas, and I think we have several teams that can qualify. We're going to the Sunshine qualifier in Orlando. We're going to the Big South qualifier. Sometimes we go to the Mid-East qualifier. There's a couple that are within driving distance that we choose to go to, and then you qualify for nationals. So we have 3 opportunities this year to try and qualify for nationals, which last year we only played in 1 qualifier, and our goal really wasn't to qualify. Obviously, if we would have qualified, we would have gone, but that really wasn't our goal. We wanted to make sure our 16 and aboves had exposure for recruiting purposes. And that's always kind of on our agenda. If our players want to play in college, we want to create environment and go to tournaments where they're going
Real
to get
life,
that
yeah,
where they're going to
absolutely.
get that exposure. And so this year we're trying to get to Dallas. That's a great goal of ours. But like I said, so we created 3 opportunities this year for them to do that, which is we didn't do that last year because of where the location of the championships were. So this year we feel like Dallas is a little bit more kid friendly. We really want to create those opportunities to play with the best of the best.
I remember last year nationals, and it was like welcome to the big leagues.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's overwhelming. It's like 100 and almost 200 courts, and it's just overwhelming.
you can't see the end of it. It's like
No,
the
no.
courts go off into the distance,
It's
like
like
the
a mile
horizon.
from your car to get it to your court sometimes.
I think
It's
we walked a mile to get to the front gate. I'm just gonna, I
yeah.
got our cardio
But
in.
what an event. Like what a
I know.
really cool event that they have. And they've actually included now a West concourse. That's how big the facility is. I think they had over 215 courts. It's
Well,
unbelievable.
I had to go see the 18 ones. I just wanted to see what like the cream looks like at the highest level.
Yeah, it's pretty
And
good, isn't
the
it?
libero was like 6'1". I was like, oh,
Yeah.
wow. It was. I didn't know if that was a college basketball team. Well, okay, it could have been. Like, I mean, college volleyball team. I guess they're all tall, but like I had no idea. And then
No.
I'll be excited to get to that point. I don't want it to go any faster than it's going
No,
right
you
now.
don't. It goes by fast, doesn't it? No, it's super fun to watch, and it's what's really cool is they create an environment where your daughters are gonna have a great experience no matter which one you go to. But it's just a great experience and something that they value and will remember the rest of their lives. So if you can create that, why not? And I think that's part of the fun. It's just the kind of the culmination of a fun season.
Well, we had fun at the hotel as a team,
Mhm.
and then we had a fun, when we went to go play,
Yeah.
and without getting distracted, and staying focused. But it was like a really fun work trip, if you
Yeah.
will.
Yeah. It's you know, I've been in it. I've gone to every nationals for the last, a really long time, and it's fun to be around. It's just a fun game to watch. I was watching a match the other day because we're in right before the NCAA championships this weekend, and Ben Roethlisberger, who was a Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback, was at all the pit games.
Stop.
Yeah, and they interviewed him, and they said he's like, "This is the best sport that I've ever seen. Everything's a point. Everything's on the line. Every single point." He's like, "I have daughters. I hope they get involved with it." And it was really cool to kind of see someone of that caliber really respecting the sport. So,
I called a fellow salon owner up in Knoxville. Frank Gambus is famous. He has the big salon up in Knoxville. Salon
uh
Visage is a fabulous salon. He has all the things. And I said, "Hey, I want to talk about retention rates." He's like, "When are you available?" He's like, "Well, I'm at a volleyball game. Let me get back to you." And I said, "Okay." And I said, "Well, who are you watching?" And he was at the UT volleyball game.
huh.
I thought he might have had a granddaughter playing club, and of course, I took a picture of Calista serving and sent it to him.
Uh huh.
And it was after that he was like, "No, I'm at the college game." I was like, "Oh." And so, I mean, he doesn't have anybody playing at college, but like that, the game is
It
captivating. And
is so captivating. I mean, the viewership numbers, they just posted that for the first and second round of the NCAA tournament this year were the largest they've ever been. And the championships are at 3 o'clock p.m. on ABC. I mean, that's the first time we've been on ABC. So it's a really big deal. And like I said, the opportunities like for your daughter in the future are amazing that she could potentially get to do the sport that she loves for an extended period of time and get paid for it
yeah,
in her own home country. I think that is just amazing.
something to look
I would
forward
have
to.
never thought of that when I was in college. It was just something unheard of. But the volleyball is the biggest sport in almost every country. The volleyball and soccer are the two biggest sports in every country except for ours.
So thank you for thinking about the parent budget when you said we didn't go to Vegas because we saved an extra 3,000. Like I'm always up for savings, and I took my kids to Vegas last year for spring break and questioned that decision every single
It's yeah.
day.
I was there for four or 5 days, and it was first of all it was 114 degrees or
Hmm.
something like
Hmm.
that. I'm like, I didn't even want to go outside across the street to get lunch or dinner. So but yeah, we try and take that into account. We don't want this to be just it's not a money grab. That's not what we're doing it for. But we try and make it worth the experience because I think there's so many life lessons that sports teaches. And to be able to teach a game that I love and think about my whole career has been based on growing the game. How can I make the game faster? I never knew what club volleyball was until I moved to Chattanooga back in 2015. And I never ever thought I'd want to get involved with club volleyball. I'm like, oh, it's just this big rat race with a bunch of egos of people trying to do this and that. And then when I was asked to coach a local team, I was like, okay, sure, let's try it. And I have told many of my Division One former counterparts, and even like it is one of the most rewarding things I've ever done in my life. Because if you really want to change a kid's life, coach club volleyball, because they are locked in on everything that comes out of your mouth to help them grow as a player and as a person, and they just want your approval so bad, and just like they just don't want to disappoint you. And I'm like, don't play for me, play for yourself, play for the love of the game. But it has been one of the most rewarding things I've ever done in my life, and I've been involved with volleyball for 32 years. And don't get me wrong, I love coaching the college game. I love the X's and O's and the strategy, and I love that side of it. But I get to do that at club as well. So I kind of I have the best of both worlds right now. And it's such a good place to be in. And I love the opportunity that the community allows me to be involved as much as I am. So,
Thank you for bringing up community. A5 does something different. You're worried about the community. And I'm going to say we because I've been involved with
mhm.
the board for the fundraiser. Tell me why you guys took this approach and how's it benefiting the community?
So one of the things that we try and do, even since I've been involved with it, we try and do fundraisers and one of the things that I hate to hear is Coach Nancy, I don't think we can afford it. I can't play for your team, or I can't play for your club, and I never want a player to miss an opportunity because of money. We run the largest golf fundraiser that is across 63 clubs.
That makes me feel good.
It should. It's an amazing opportunity, and I talk about it quite a bit on calls, and I actually ended up having to do a full, not quite presentation, but just a document on how to kind of run a golf tournament, which I'm golf novice, so I had a really good committee and that know a lot of good golfers and a lot of good people. So, we started this 2 years ago. We've had 2 golf tournament fundraisers, and the money is to benefit the athletes within our club that may have 2, 3, 4 siblings in our club that the parents want them to play for our club because of the values that their daughters learn and the life lessons that they learn. And so we've had this golf fundraiser. We do it every year. I would say in the past 2 years, we've raised well over $50,000. And all that goes back towards the students and the athletes. And so we do this because we want to make sure we create a safe space for them, but we also want to make sure, like, some people have a really hard time asking, and I'm like, don't ever tell me you can't play because of money. Like, ask me. I want to help. How can we help? And that's why we do it. We want to make sure the opportunities are there for everybody in the community, not just a few. We want to make sure there are opportunities for everybody that can play and wants to play. So at whatever level it is. So, we have this big fundraiser that we do every year, and it's in August again next year. I think August 12th.
12th, that's right.
August 12th, we'll have it again next year. And we had, we started, I think we had 18 teams our first year. This past year we had 24, and we're trying to get it up even more. And we have a great partnership with Council Fire. They allow us to do the fundraiser there, and they're so supportive of what we're doing. And I can't ask for better people on our committee that dedicate a lot of time and hours into making this work. And it's kind of actually really fun. It's a lot of work, but it's really fun. It's a fun day.
The day of the tournament's a blast.
It's a blast. It's a lot of fun, and a lot of people just come out, and we have some lunch and we play golf and have these challenges along the way, and it's just really good camaraderie, and it's for a great cause. I didn't realize that we were one of the top fundraisers, but I'm always happy to talk about something that's so rewarding for the players.
Well, so if you're an A5 parent, you're a golfer. Okay, you guys heard it here.
Yeah.
This is a podcast. We need you to
Any way you want to contribute, let me know. Nancy at A5Chattanooga.com. You can always reach me there.
I like it.
But yeah, it's just a really fun event, and I'm sure I'm going to have to present on it again with. I go to a summit at a convention this weekend, so I'm going to have to talk about it some more. But I love talking about it because it's a lot of dedication from our parents, really, and our board that puts a lot of time and energy and effort into making it something special.
Let's project.
Okay.
What's an ideal location look like for A5 in Chattanooga? What do you need?
We need a home. We are, I think we have 6 or 7 practice facilities that we're kind of using right now, and it works. I mean, it works for what we have, but it would be nice to be able to have everything under one roof. That allows us to do private lessons and allows us to do some small group training, allows us to have more combined practices where we can cross teams over and within a practice, instead of, an ideal location, minimum 4 courts with storage area, locker room space, office space.
Possible snack bar area.
Possibly snack bar area, a lot of parking so we can run tournaments, so we can keep some things local. That would be ideal. We'd kind of like something off, because we pull from North Georgia, we pull from Dalton, we pull from Chickamauga, we pull from Ottawa, we pull from Cleveland, we pull from Marion County. So we're all over, and they're all coming to us. And we Fort Payne, Alabama, we have kids driving an hour and 15 minutes just to be a part of our club, which is pretty special. So for us to have a home would be really nice, and something where we can hang our banners on the wall, the love banner, the A5 Chattanooga banner, and just someplace for that they can call theirs. And I think it would really benefit our coaches to not have to carry their balls everywhere to every practice. But they never complain about it. They do the work. but it would be nice to have a home, just what we can call A5 Chattanooga, and have our own local tournaments where we can get some good training in with and have just invite people, because where we're located, people will travel.
At work, we have multiple locations,
Mm-hmm.
and it's fortunate, growth, and you're able to expand. But
Mm-hmm.
there's nothing like when you bring everybody together in
Mm-hmm.
one spot.
And
The
it's
camaraderie, the
special, yeah.
energy.
We actually just first weekend of December, we had all the sister clubs and all the coaches get together down in Atlanta for a full day of just going through the X's and O's, and we actually got to meet the new Love head volleyball coach, Paolo. He was amazing. Learn some new drills, learn some new things, and just kind of talk about this is how you get your reimbursement, and this is how So we got to talk about all that, but it's just always kind of fun to come together, have a meal together, and just everybody under one roof. We can't do that here in Chattanooga because we don't have the space. We rely on other people's schedules, and we kind of work around it. So, like I said, Sarah Lale's amazing at communicating and finding the right facilities that we can get the most benefit from. But we can always use more. We can always use more because if we want to continue to grow, which is what we want to do, we want to be. We don't want to get too big, but we want to get big enough where we can make sure we're offering for everybody, having something for everybody, and we can do that more if we have a place to call home. So we've been searching, and Chattanooga is a tough place because we're kind of an industrial town. So
It is, and so maybe shout out to Baylor this year. Thanks for letting
yeah,
us come back. It's
yeah,
nice to get all those teams,
yes.
under one roof at one time.
That is an ideal facility, 4 courts right there. I think if you have 4 courts, it allows you to have more teams. You got 8 teams training. That's what we're doing right now. And at one time on a Saturday, we get all of our teams, 14 teams in within 4.5 hours. So I think that's pretty cool to do. It makes a long day for Coach Mary and I, but we love it. We love it.
One day at one location.
Yeah, one day, one location. We do a lot of stuff at GPS. They allow us to use their gym quite a bit as well, so that's kind of fun to do. For me, it's sometimes fun. I coach the 16s, but I'm also involved with all the teams. But I get to see when I get to see the littles play and that kind of stuff. So I just get to show up and see that, and just the growth that it's just amazing. It's really fun.
Where's the club in 5 years? If you get your way, where's the club in 5 years?
If I get my way, I think we have 24 teams. I think we have a 4 to 5, 6 court facility where we're operating out of, and we have multiple teams qualifying at every level for nationals, qualifying and finishing high. That's my goal. That's my dream. But I still want to be able to have local teams and create opportunities for everybody. I want to be able to really create opportunities for every little girl that wants to play. And that's kind of always has been my dream, is to continue to do that. And I think we do a pretty good job of it. We're not where I want to be yet, but we're in the right direction.
Right path.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I think a corporate sponsorship, the facility that comes to mind is that in Nashville with that orthopedic group, and they have
Yeah.
that massive, and it seems to be like a win-win for their
Yeah.
practice, and then the
Practice,
athletes,
training, and
built-in business with
yeah.
what they have going on, and maybe finding the right orthopedic group where you're not competing with
Yeah.
the time or the space. But I mean, I think that's what here and I keep a lookout for is where do
I
we
think
come?
I think we have a lot of people looking out for us. We do. We have
Agreed.
a really good group of parents that are constantly. I get at least 1 to 2 phone calls or text messages a week like, "Hey, have you looked at this? Have you looked at this? How can I help?" I love that because for me, it's so much bigger than me. This is so much bigger than 1 or 2 people. And if we can have that community that's looking out for each other, that's what makes us special, I think. There's no ego involved. It's about growing and making and creating opportunities for everybody.
So what I hear and what I feel is it's not if, but when.
Mm-hmm. I have to believe that.
Well, you've got us believing. Nancy, thank you for your time. This was a
Absolutely.
blast. I love
Thank
it.
you.
We'll do it again.
Absolutely. Anytime.